What's up, guys? This is Chris from Honest Outlaw here, and today we're going to be doing an even more informal video than normal. Today I'm going to take you along the process of practicing and kind of feeling out a potential new carry gun. It's going to be a first shots video, but a first shots video of a gun you've kind of already seen before. We're going to be talking about the Shield Plus Performance Center. Now this guy is ported, and it does have a couple of differences compared to my first one. Let's start with the glaring obvious difference, the rear sight, which has a bunch of marring all over it because we took this rear sight off one of my previous Shields and put it on this one. This rear sight's moved 3 times. And downstairs earlier, the wife and I had to literally I didn't want to file this anymore, so we just beat the crap out of this thing till we put it on there. And I wanted to mention that, get it out of the way for all the haters. You're going to see that in the filler. That did not come on the gun. It came with fiber optic red rear and a green front, and it looked like a Christmas tree from hell, and I hate that sighting setup, so I popped that off, put a blacked out rear on just for the shooting today, just so I can stand it. This gun, I'm not too worried about the sights, because if this is as good as I hope, I'm gonna get this, eventually have a red dot put on this. The Performance Center version of the Shield comes out for a pretty good price. I think I got some Mr. Guns for around something like $600. It's a 3-inch double stack micro 9mm with similar technology to the P365, 10+1, 13+1 if you so choose, in a very small lightweight package, which I like a lot. I think the Shield Plus from Smith & Wesson is probably the most shootable of the micro 9s, except for maybe the Spectre Comp, which I'm a huge fan of. Now the Spectre Comp is just a ported SIG XL, and it shoots a lot better, so I was like, well, if that works better, maybe the ported version of the Shield would shoot better than my current favorite micro 9, the old regular Shield. So this one actually has a ported barrel in here, not just slide cuts, but it has 2 ports at the front, very small by comparison to the Spectre Comp. The difference being is that this is ported into the barrel itself, which is going to give you more recoil reduction theoretically, but also a little bit less ballistic capability because it's got a 3-inch barrel that's ported, but also sometimes porting in barrels can cause problems. However, this comes from the factory ported, so it should be recoil sprung and everything right for it. I like that a lot. The Performance Center Smith & Wessons usually don't let me down. I'm a big fan of their revolvers, and I'm a big fan of their full-size M&Ps. This one hopefully shouldn't let me down either. Another nice thing I like about this is it does have a more aggressive texture than the standard Shield, and the trigger seems to be just a hair better as well. Now, one thing I don't like about the gun is that the only version I could find around the area, I like to buy local, because wherever you buy from, that's who you're endorsing with your money. Remember that. So I like to buy local to keep my local shops in business, and the only one they had available was the safety version. Now, I had plenty of safety versions of the M&P. Guess what? Who gives a shit? Don't use it. It's so stiff and it's so hard to hit in the first place, I don't imagine ever accidentally using it, and it's not really a problem anyway, since I sweep safeties with my natural battery of arms, since I'm a 1911 CZ guy. So, I mean, even if it was accidentally on, there's a really good chance that just in my battery of arms, I'm going to take it off anyway. That being said, we'll play with it today and see. I've been wrong before, but I do really like this gun. That being said, I wish there was an optics ready ported version from the factory, Smith & Wesson. Why? Why do I have to get either the ported or the optics ready? Why can't I get both? Obviously, that's what you would want. If you have a ported gun, a red dot's going to be better anyway. Second thing, Smith & Wesson. If you are going to have one gun come out with steel sights and one gun come out with the fiber optic sights, probably don't put the fiber optic sight on the ported gun. And I'll give you an example. Port equal gas. And when gas comes out of here, you have a tendency to blow the freaking front sight off if it's fiber optic. Fiber optic is a great sighting choice for most situations because it gathers a lot of light, and it's a little bit of a pseudo red dot without having to pay $500. However, if you have a ported version, I would keep those fiber optic rods in your little toolbox at home, like I do, because eventually they break off and then you have to replace them. You stick the little rod in there, you snip them on each end, hit them with a little bit of a lighter, and they just melt in there and they stay in there. That being said, I would really like to see a steel front sight or an optics ready system ready to go. That being said, we have a 1,000-hour review of the previous Smith & Wesson Shield Plus, which I believe is not only reliable but accurate and incredibly fast, and I hope this one's going to be even better, and if it does anything less than that, it's going to be a huge disappointment to me. So don't be surprised if I start having malfunctions, if I get mad and, I don't know, throw this into a lake, because I really want this to work, because I think this could be my next carry gun. So yeah, Before we do that though, I do want to mention the patron supporters. I did buy this with the patron money from Mr. Gunn, so thank you guys very much. If you want to support the content, you like the content, that's the best way to do it. Just go to the link in the description below. If you're not interested in Patreon, feel free to go over and use YouTube Super Thanks. Also in that description is a link to a local shelter in Ames, Iowa. It's the YSS. There's also a link in there for Outlaw Life. All right, couple caveats to this sighting system. One, I know it's ugly. Two, it's a blacked out rear with a fiber optic front, and now it used to be a fiber and fiber. I mentioned that earlier, but what I didn't mention is I don't exactly know what the sight height difference is between the two, and I kind of got it mostly centered. So we're gonna shoot it at 75 here, see if we get a couple of hits. If not, we'll pattern it up front. But just remember, for the 1,000 run review, there'll probably be a dot on this. Well, it's close. Now, one thing I do have to mention is I don't believe the ports help out with the recoil near as much as the Spectre comp does, which is interesting, because you would think that inside the barrel, they would actually be more effective. Interesting thing about the ports here, we'll show you here real quick, is they're very small. I think that is to mitigate a lot of gas coming up, because when you're shooting in close quarters or shooting from attention, you don't want a lot of gas coming up and hitting you in the face. Which is what I would consider the main detriment to a ported carry gun. Most people talk about night shooting. Those people don't shoot at night. I shoot at night all the time. Ported handguns don't bother me at all because you're gonna be using a weapon light. And people are like, well, ported guns will fuck with your night vision if you're not using a weapon light. But if you're not using a weapon light in the dark, what the hell are you shooting at? Identify your target.
Yeah, what are you doing? Okay.
All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this mag and I'm gonna shoot a couple rounds out of the regular one, a couple rounds out of the Performance Center one, and then go back and forth maybe once or twice and just see if I like the recoil impulse and the trigger and the grip of this one a little bit better or not. So we'll start with a couple rounds, 75 yards with the regular one. Okay. It is softer, I'll give you that. I think it's just a comparison thing. All right, so we're just shooting a little bit high. So if I aim a little bit low with this, we're good to go. I'm so jacked up on coffee. I hate that holster, that eBay holster.
Sorry. It keeps smacking you in the head when it comes in.
Yeah, that's what I was curious about. It keeps coming right back at me here. Now we have no lock back either. I gotta tell you, I don't feel, I'm gonna be honest, I don't feel like I shoot this one as well as I do the regular one. I think it might be the janky sighting setup maybe. That green fiber optic I don't particularly like. I don't know. I don't know what it is.
Just not vibing with it?
Yeah.
How's it feel now?
A little better. Now this shit I'll never get used to. This garbage that Smith & Wesson always does. See these mags? I cannot stand these spacer mags that they do here. Just make a legit mag. Why does that thing have to move around? I mean, that's the one thing that bothers me sometimes about Smith, is that they make such good guns, but the reality is a lot of their accessories and parts seem so 2010. And you can see that with their new rifles as well. No lock back again, could be my dumb thumbs, could be the porting slowing down the side just enough. Not sure yet. All right, so we got the mag that I usually carry in my Shield Plus. Now this is not a mag you would get with the gun. It's the standard 10 round mag, but I put a Pierce grip extension on it. And the reason why is because this is the part that shows when I carry. the way I carry, and then I get a good extra grip. Now I don't get one round like a lot of people. They're like, you know, I need extra capacity. 10 plus 1 in the gun's fine with me. I want it to be comfortable to draw, have a good purchase when it comes out, and I want it to be concealable, and because of that, the Pierce grips really work for me. So we're at about 7 yards here. I'm going to press out, hit the hostage plate like he was taking a hostage, and then I'll take his 2 buddies on either side. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
You just had to get used to it, huh?
Yeah, yep. It's just getting used to the new sights.
Okay.
All right, so about 10, oh, you're behind me? Where you at?
Oh.
You're about 10 yards away here from these dipstick targets here, and there's 4 of them, so just double tap each of them and kind of see how that goes. This is gonna be such a demon with a red dot. Smith & Wesson, please give me an optics ready version. I'll take that.
Now you're vibing.
Press
Hey,
up.
it's even short enough I can get the slide release with my thumb.
Oh, nice. Wow. That was fast. What'd you think?
Obviously I like it. I don't shoot shit fast if I don't like it.
Have another one.
Okay.
Pardon me here, I'm not a cameraman. I'm gonna slide in behind you here a little bit.
Is that so?
I hear that's the best view anyway.
Oh my God.
Shoot at those little Wilson targets right there.
Feels really good.
Those little ones right in front of you.
Okay.
They don't make quite as much of a noise, but they're harder to shoot.
This is a badass little gun.
Yeah, it is.
When I did my sorry, I'm really loud. When I have my ear pro on, I forget how loud
Everyone
I am.
is. I'm loud when I don't have ear pro on. It's not the big a deal.
So am I, Italian-American woman. When I did my carry video, everyone told me that I shot the Shield. Did I shoot the Shield or the Shield Plus?
The Shield Plus.
So everyone told me that I shot that one better, but it didn't feel quite as good in my hand as the Kimber.
But that one does.
I would,
You shoot that better than your Kimber.
Well, I'm gonna have to do them back to back because I don't have the encyclopedic brain that you do. But I have to say, I did enjoy this, and
But you're a dot girl again.
I am a dot girl.
So every gun that doesn't have a dot will always be subpar to the ones that do.
That's
true.
true.
And once that has a dot on it, I'm gonna shoot that like a demon, and I know you will too.
However, I do like green front sights a lot.
Yeah.
And I have to say, I might have to take this one out and on my own and do a little training with it.
I am probably going to switch that green front sight out for a red because I have red fiber optic downstairs because that's my gun.
I like fiber optic sights.
My gun. That one's my gun.
Says
Not like the
you.
Spectre, which once was my gun.
Hey.
That's the gun I bought because you steal my guns.
When we got married, we agreed that what's yours is mine and what's mine is mine, right?
Yeah. You know what I think is going to be the best versus of the year?
What?
That versus Spectre Comp. I think between those two, they're the two best carry guns on the market. The Hellcat Pro's in there, but it doesn't compete with those two.
But Hellcat
the trigger on that's insane, and the porting on that's insane. What's really crazy about that's the price. You know, I got that for what, 600 bucks?
Yep. And they're online for like between 530 and 600.
Yeah.
I think.
I think, man.
That's a good value.
I don't know how they do that because, like, I get the Spectre Comp. It's expensive. It's got the gold trigger. It's got the brake, but that has everything too. It's just as good of a trigger. What it doesn't have though is a rail.
It also doesn't look quite as cool.
Yeah, you can do the TLR sub that works for the Spectre Comp, but I don't know if a light that goes on that gun. If anybody does know, put it in the comment section because I want one.
All right, sexy.
All right, so couple pros and cons to the Performance Center. One, it's gonna be a little bit more. Two, the porting is always gonna get dirtier. That is gonna be a con of this, especially considering the way they kind of cut it. Because what it has here, it's got two little ports and it's got these ports, and you can see here that there's so much carbon building up on the inside of the barrel, you're just gonna have to clean this gun more often than you would the standard version. But I think what you get out of it is probably worth the squeeze. Now, you're gonna lose some ballistic capability. What you're gonna gain is easy and fun training. And that's something people don't talk about with porting. If you port a little gun, it becomes much more fun to shoot. And if you get good with it, that's all the better. You have to understand, because you're the weapon. The way you shoot, your shot placement, that's what matters. 3-inch barrel, 4-inch barrel, 5-inch barrel, doesn't mean shit if you don't hit what you're aiming at. Sights don't mean shit if you can't hit what you're aiming at. Honestly, I love it. I love it a lot. I'm glad I bought it. And I think for the money, it's a much better buy than something like the Spectre Comp. You're looking at $1,000, $1,100 versus 600 bucks. It is what it is. You get 2 of these for 1 Spectre Comp. Now the Spectre Comp's a little bit more concealable because it's got a smaller grip in my opinion, even though it has the exact same length of barrel as well, the 3-inch versus the 3-inch, and the Spectre Comp comes out here, so it's a little bit less concealable on the barrel, but a little bit more concealable on the grip, because the grip on the M&P is gonna be bigger. Now I like that, because I like a positive purchase, I like a positive draw. One thing that I try to talk about that most people don't, is that if you get into a fight with a gun, it's a gun fight, which means you're gonna be fighting. And if you're under duress and somebody's beating your ass and or shooting or stabbing you, it's harder to get the gun out than you might think. And if you do combatives classes and stuff, a bigger grip is just easier to get out quick. And if you can get the freaking gun out and go to work, I mean, that's what it's supposed to be for. And those small little grips are super easy to carry, but they're hard to get a hold of sometimes. Ask your wife. But anyway, I really like the gun. I think it's more than worth it. Above that, one thing I'd like to see Smith & Wesson do is fix these terrible sights. Put some sort of optics rail on it. You have enough space. I think what they're trying to do is maybe keep the same pattern as the holsters for the shield, which is great. But at some point, things need to be upgraded. And honestly, with a gun of 10, 12 plus 1 like this, that I'm gonna have comped and with a dot on it, I mean, at the end of the day, I'd like a light. There's so many compact lights now. The TLR1 series is my personal favorite, but I would like the ability to put a light. And there's probably one that clamps onto the trigger guard or something like that. But what I would like to see is a little system that SIG has, honestly, that you could pop them little TLR7 subs on there. And I like those a lot, and I hope one day I'll be able to put one on here. So again, if you know a good lighting option for this, let me know in the comment section below. I haven't looked it up. This sight here was a disaster. It looks bad, and it was a better sight picture up close, but it certainly was off and high. So I'm gonna ditch this rear sight, ditch this front sight, buy a dedicated pair of sights that I didn't just take off one of my other guns. On top of that, they'll be blacked out, so because I'll put a Holosun 507K on there, which I already purchased for it. So I'm gonna get this sent in and milled and back out here, probably most likely for the 1,000 round review. And you can say, well, you should do the 1,000 round review before you mill it. And I say to you, nah, because it's my gun. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. Please support your local homeless shelters and remember to recycle. I'll check you later. Supposed to drop it down? Yeah. I thought you were telling me to be
You
quieter.
always have the gun like...
I am burned. Is that like? Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
I choked there. I was gonna put a dick joke in there, but I choked, literally and figuratively.
Well,
we'll stop
the
with that.
dick and the choke are normally my... Never mind.
You choked on the dick joke too, didn't you? Sorry.
Bloopers.
Bloopers, yeah.